Hello, good day. This is Roger from RAD Software Systems. This video that I'm showing now, it's just really geared towards a personal motivation. I have set myself of maintaining my second language, which meant to be Spanish. You know, obviously did in secondary school and have pretty much a decent exposure to it. So I didn't want it to sort of wilt away by entropy. So I am doing a self-study course using an app called SpanishDictionary.com, which I find quite good. I've got a database of approximately 14.2 thousand words. I'm going to treat those as sight words. For me, that isn't a big amount because I've always been a voracious reader, right? So my English language vocabulary is quite large, but that's the explanation for that. Um, So how I'm really supplanting that is by reading a lot of news. Two main ones I use is Computer Weekly and El País newspaper. I use BBC Mundo, but I'm just narrowing it down to core reading materials. Um, so this app that I developed using legacy technology, XLVBA, it's to assist me with meeting my target of 100 word a day. I will go to the macros. Macro is just basically recorder. Using macro recorder. This is pretty simple enough to have written by hand, but then you've got all these automated tools, so just use it to speed up the developmental process. The recorder gave the data I did it was yesterday morning, and I okay, through a bit of practice, I realized that okay, it hard coded this, and I thought like okay, I'll have to manually go and edit, so it's just defeating the purpose of having an automated solution. So just a quick one-time fix that I did early this morning. Um, yeah, pretty roughly time I did it. And just now means, as name implied, the current timestamp. And now, when I use it in the Linguistic Ingestion Engine, it just basically uh, automates the record. I'll just put it across here because I'll be deleting it. I wanna don't mix up the demo data with the actual information, right? So I'll delete that at the end of the video. So, right, and then, okay, it takes me roughly about 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, but let's just say I just for demonstration purposes, run the macro again, and then so forth it goes. Right, wonderful. I also have a Postgres database that I am using to record phrases from the two main magazines, newspapers that I use. One's Computer Weekly, and then another is El País. Okay. This is the data model for those of you who aren't familiar with database systems. An ERD diagram, entity relational diagram, basically it's the architectural blueprint. And in this case, it's showing a one-to-many where I would read one article from whichever works, and then I keep the relevant information. And then I can have many phrases. SpanishDictionary.com just helps me basically with like one word, sight words. But then to progress and reach a decent level of fluency, it's recommended to use phrases a lot. So I'm getting an AI agent to go through the article, pick out phrases at the appropriate level, write the SQL script, and I just run it to import into my database. I can write the SQL script myself, but I have to be operating more as an architect, an MIS architect rather than a coder. So But I do maintain my coding skills by doing a bit of hands-on coding now and again. Okay, so that's the data model. We'll go to, let's see, the table with the words or the phrases. So I will open that to first 100. Then you see it goes through, picks up. I will go to the fairly recent ones. So let's just say I did, and it gives the ranking for the CEFR, that's a European framework for language learning. A is basic, C1C is advanced, and fluency. I estimate I'm at the intermediate stage with all the various practice that I've done. So the reason why I'm a bit cautious because I have spoken to like with Spanish people, and I know I still have got quite a level to go at. I've seen some test data here, so that was when I was just testing the front end. Yeah, so I'll delete that later. I've also got basically a Laravel app, and that's what all the various other tables does. I've got a front end. I'll show that like another point in time because it's not really totally finished. So I need to factor in the related table. At this point in time, it's just doing like half, so it's a bit useless. Okay, so once that's a bit more completed, I will go that way. Let me just go to the one of the websites. So say for instance, I'm doing my revision up to yesterday. I did to bypass multi-factor authentication, evitar al doble uh, factor de autenticación, right? And then it gives you the sentence. So I'll commit those to memory because I need to be able to see it and write it and then be able to use it. Um, exactly. So that's going to power my learning process. Okay, so that's how I keep track of my basically my self-development. It could be also professional because I'd like to be using Spanish in a professional capacity also. So it's pretty much multimodal. So I decided to use my software engineering skills to keep it in place, monitoring tools to one keep me motivated and on track. Right? And then it provides an audit trail for if I miss for a long period of time, then I come back and I see where I stopped off at, etc. Okay. All right. Thank you again for your time. And that's thought I'd just post this of what really kickstarted that was this one. Just thought it'd just be a simple thing, and it turned out to be quite practical, and yeah, it takes the drudgery out of learning a language, especially when you have to work on your own. Let me just close off with the actual article that I, examined, I believe it was yesterday. ABB, Mayor Demanda Energética y México requeriría resiliencia, talking about data centers, energy consumption. And you can see from the 450% where they're expecting it to increase. So, that's obviously be a concern. So, la demanda eléctrica en México se elevará en 50% por la ola de data centers orientados a la inteligencia artificial y se espera que el consumo energético alcance los 1.5 gigawatts in 2030. So I'll read aloud to myself something like that, and that's helping me with my pronunciation, etc. Okay, thank you again. I hope it instills some motivation for anyone who is out there learning whatever they have to learn. Yeah, keep at it and use the tools out there. All right, bye bye.